Okay, now let's look at two non-number variables. Since we're doing a story on water, let's look at how drinking groups are related to the World Bank classification. So what this means is we've so far been looking at sufficient to drink proportions as an exact number, such as 53% of the people in a country have sufficient water to drink, or 75% of the people. But this is also divided out into groups, sufficient to drink group up here in the dimensions section. So let's drag the group variable to this row, and we can see that the countries have been classified into low, moderate, and high groups based on the proportion of people who have enough to drink in their country. And then income group is a classification developed by the World Bank. Each couple of years, the World Bank does a thorough assessment of each country and classifies them into different income groups. Let's drag the income group column here. And you can see that the World Bank classifies countries into high income, low income, low middle, and upper middle income. So when we're looking at two non-number variables, it's not the actual values, such as X and X percent or Y amount, that is interesting. It's the number of records that fall into these categories. So we'll go down here under measure and get the number of records, and we'll drag it up into this table. So now we can see we have a nice table of high income groups that have high access to water, low access to water, and interestingly there are none that have moderate. So this is a table, which is not probably the easiest way for you to visualize your data. So up here under Show Me, we can immediately see these are our water groups and these are our income groups, and then these are our number of records. So it's not that easy to read when the income groups and the water groups are not sorted in ways that are logical and make sense. So you can always go up to the variable, right click or hover, and go down to sort. We can sort them automatically, ascending, descending, alphabetical, by a set fields, or manual. Manual is the easiest. So we're just going to move low down so that we have low, moderate, and high, a logical order. Change this right away. Now we'd also like to sort our income groups. And again, for quickness, we'll do it manually. So we want low income on the bottom, lower middle. Okay, so now we're looking at a bar chart of the number of records. So this is the number of countries for each year that have a high proportion of people in the country having access to water and are high income, high water, upper middle income, high water, lower middle income, high water, low income. So this is a nice quick way to visualize two non-numeric variables. Now what you're looking at here is the number of records. So these are counts, 233 countries at different points in time. What you might want to look at is percentages. So under analysis, you can ask it to show you percentage of. So percentage of the table, so that's a percentage where the denominator is the total number of cells in the table. Or you can ask it by column, row, pane, row and pane, column and pane, or cell. So you can customize basically what is being used as a denominator. And first let's look at the table. So now you can see this axis has changed from the number of records to the percentage of records. So we can see that if we hover here, 28% of our data are high income countries that have a high proportion of people with water to drink. And 2% are low income countries with a high amount of water to drink. So those are interesting. We would be interested to see what percentages those are. If you don't want to look at a bar chart, you can look at a stacked bar chart, which some people love, some people hate. Again, this is your exploratory data analysis, so the only best principles you have to align to here are your own. It's different when you're getting ready to publish. This is a little bit deceiving because these percentage numbers don't mean much. So we'll go back up to the analysis and tell it to give us a percentage of the column, because each column here is an income class: high, upper middle, lower middle, low. So this is just another way of visualizing what the relative distribution of water is like in the income groups. So the blue are countries that have a high proportion of people with access to water, and the red is countries that have a low proportion of people. And you can see that although there are high income countries that have a low proportion of people with access to water, the wealthier your country is, the more likely you are to have access to water. So take note of this. We're doing a story on equity and water, and we're seeing a definite relationship start to emerge. And what's interesting about this relationship is that it's not absolute. This red bar here is actually taller than this red bar here. So what does that mean? How are you going to talk about that? You need to do a little bit of digging. Why would there be more high income countries with low amounts of people that have access to water than there are upper middle income countries? Is that a political difference? Is that a social difference? Or could that be a geographical difference? Are these high income countries Middle Eastern countries with lots of oil but not a lot of water? This is where you need to do reporting and just dig down into exactly what story is this data telling you.